But am I really live? Okay, now I'm really live. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to DoMoreLife, the Saturday morning edition of our usual live stream. It's good to see everyone. Thank you all so much for coming by. I really appreciate it very, very much. In today's video, we're going to discuss my trip to Koh Chang. I'm going to just talk about some of the things there because I have a lot of content from the road to Koh Chang. Ross and I took the scenic route there to Koh Chang and got to see some really cool things, to the actual island of Koh Chang itself. We did the entire island, the whole thing. And lots of content that is going to be spread out probably over the next month coming. So, let me just say I've said hello to everyone except Lyle and Ty Guy Bry. It is good to see you guys. Thank you so much for dropping by. Much appreciated. MedTech, good greetings to you. Thanks for dropping by, man. Appreciate it. So, a couple of announcements. Brad Believe, what's up, buddy? 3-2 over Chicago right now. Carolina Hurricane. That must be hockey. That's the one sport that I can't watch. Before that, I talk about the island itself, I want to make a couple announcements about the channel. First and foremost, it seemed as though the channel members were fairly satisfied with the behind the scenes photo shoot that I did. So I'm going to do a part 2 to that for you guys at some point. Okay. It just takes a long time to edit the pictures. It'll probably be a picture montage, but it'll be a little more of the risque or boudoir type photos, that kind of thing. So if you want to see, and this week, channel members voted on the content that you're getting ready to see right now. Yes, she was a very attractive young lady, and she was pleasant to work with. So that was always a plus for sure. No, bro, I believe it is not. That is that's something we're going to talk about later in the show. And I will address Thailand travel later in the show. But first, I wanted to address my trip to Koh Chang. And let me start off by saying hey, Big C, good to see you. I made a huge mistake in travel, in transportation, something that I rarely make because I understand the cost it takes to get there. What I did not account for was I knew I was going to have to take a private car. So we had a 3-day weekend when we went to Koh Chang. Thursday night when I got off work, I took a trip to Rayong, stayed at the resort with Ross, and there in Rayong, and then the next day we went to Koh Chang. And what I failed to account for was the return trip from Koh Chang to Bangkok, because I was going to be making it on a Sunday. I was thinking to myself, it's an island. They got ferries leaving every 2 or 3 hours. You know, they may have cut them down they may have cut down the amount of ferries that go and come to every 2 hours or so, that kind of thing. But I should still be able to get out of there at 8 o'clock in the morning, no problem. Well, they currently at this time, this video is being shot or being recorded on February the 20th, 2021. They currently only have one ferry that connects to one bus on a Sunday, and it takes you to a bus station in Bangkok. And that bus did not leave until 11, or that ferry did not leave until 11 a.m. And it would have put me getting back to Bangkok sometime around 9:30 when I got home. So I had no choice but to spend 5,000 baht on a private taxi to bring me back. Now, the good news is I was back by 1. I got here at almost exactly 1 o'clock. I left at 8 a.m. and got back here at that time at 1 p.m., which gave me the rest of the afternoon to do what I needed to do and to, catch up on things, laundry, etc. Things I normally do on the weekend. But I made a grave mistake in that. So the trip to Koh Chang was extraordinarily costly for me, and it should not have been. That was entirely my fault. So just wanted you guys to know that. Take that into account when you start to come back over here, because these ferries and these long tail boats and all these other modes of transportation, the regular bus routes that run, they've been sliced. They've been cut down to a minimum. And that's kind of something that you really want to know and understand, because like I said, that was a grave error in judgment. However, let's talk about Koh Chang. Koh Chang, I did not realize, only has one road that goes around the entire island, and it's in a horseshoe. So once you get to one end of the island, the other end of the island is like over here. You're not that far away, but you can't get to it because there's no access. So you have to go all the way back around the island to get to it. Now, we covered the entire island in one day, which was fantastic. Going with Ross was a big plus because he knew the island. He's been there several times. We stayed at White Sands Beach on Koh Chang. White Sands Beach is a lovely place. It had everything going. They even had a little bit of nightlife at White Sands Beach, which I was very surprised to see. To be honest with you, Barbados, I don't know. I believe I've never been to Barbados, but if that's how it's set up, that's how it's set up. I will take your word for it for sure. So the island itself had many, many beautiful, wonderful things to see. It's a very I stayed at a place, Big C. I stayed in White Sands Beach at a place called, I think, the Mac Resort, Mac Resort, Mac Place Resort, or something like that. Anyway, I'll tell you, the videos are coming out about all of that, because this weekend I'm doing nothing but editing videos, because I put out a lot of shorts last week, which I love the idea of YouTube shorts. They're minute-long videos that can give you some good information, and they're good for consistency in terms of uploading to YouTube. And YouTube's been doing a good job pushing out my content to people. So, where was I at? Oh, Koh Chang is a very mountainous island. I mean, it's a very up and down island. Some of the turns you're going to see, Ross has got it on his channel. He did hyperlapse of the entire road trip, and you can go over on his channel and see it for yourself, just how hilly and how up and down, back and forth the roads are. I was not depressed, but I was very astonished, let's say, to see the way that the roads were cut out there. In some places, the roads are only big enough for two cars to just barely get by each other. Further, I would say I went to Lonely Beach as well to see what it was about. We were down in that area, and Big C says that hey Joe P, good to see you, brother. Glad you finally made a live stream, man. Big C says had some of my best days and nights ever on Koh Chang. I heard that a lot. I did not get video of the fire show, but Ross did, so you can check his channel out for that. I'm going to be releasing the remainder of the videos. I did not record any specific part of the nightlife that was relevant, but I can tell you that Koh Chang as a whole, yeah, I know it probably made you sick if you looked at it long enough, Griffin, because it's just winding. So Ross has given me permission to use some of that video in my videos, so I'll be doing some voiceovers on that. and I'll also be incorporating it in some of my regular videos as well. Do have that girl's phone number, please. What? I don't know what girl you're referring to, Joe. Go hopping. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. But there were, I will say that in terms of this is something men always want to know when they go traveling the islands and that kind of thing. I can say that the women that were there on Koh Chang were beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Gotta love Thailand. What's up? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for dropping by. I'm going to get a microphone too, by the way. I want you guys to be aware of that. Even if it's a cheap one, I'm going to get a microphone because I've been listening back to these live streams and they're just not up to quality that I like. So I'll be handling that for sure. Now, Koh Chang itself. Koh Chang was completely, it felt like a deserted island. Let me give you an example. Ross and I, on the first day when we got there, the first night, we were, of course, worn out. And we went looking for a professional massage establishment. We found one that was open in the area that we were staying in. And this guy was a Swedish guy who owned this shop. And it was a family-owned business. So he had him, his wife, and their daughter working there. That was it. He said he'd been in business for 20 years, and they were making it just barely day to day on the business there. He's been on the island 20 years right there on White Sands Beach. I thought that was absolutely just amazing that he was able to stay in business, because I'll show you a video at some point. It'll come out where you can see why Thailand needs tourism again. Lonely Beach was a deserted, I mean, it was just deserted. And that's usually where you find a lot of a lot of people go and stay for the nightlife there. That's probably a little bit more popular area for the more touristic crowd. But as a traveling expat and someone who lives here in Thailand, plus taking the advice of Ross, we stayed at White Sands, and White Sands was a good place. It really was. Griffin says, yes, and the fire dance is great too. I've seen the same in another city. Cool. Joe P's putting his little man's bed. That's cool. So in addition to all that, we found some some of the neater things that we found were on the way to Koh Chang. So I'm going to do like a series. The videos that'll be coming out will be like a series. The trip to Koh Chang, and then videos from actually being on the island of Koh Chang. And I'm going to try to incorporate. There he is. What's up, Stuck? Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here, man. I'm going to do my best to incorporate pictures, like still shots, in the videos, so you guys can see them a little bit. You can see a little bit more clearly of what I'm looking at. Got a little Thailand says, my favorite island. I think I've been there 3 times in the last year and a half. Wow, that's cool. Also, one of my subscribers was messaging me, and I forgot to message him back the day that I left, and I hate that. I did not have time to get to see him. Yes, please, everyone, feel free. Thank you, Stuck, for putting that out there. Feel free to hit the thumbs up button. You will find value in this information, in this live stream, I assure you, and I will go in more detail about that at the end of the or later in the video. Greg says, did Ross wear his dog mask the whole time and run around barking at people? I don't think it was the whole time, but I don't know if he barked at anyone, but he definitely showed his mask in my video. Eric, what's up, man? Good to see you. Robert, everybody's saying hey to Stuck. Yeah, it's good to see you, Stuck. I'm glad you're here, man. So the ferry ride to Koh Chang is, you actually just pull your car on there, and that was another thing. if you're going to go to Koh Chang and you're going to explore the island, you got to have a car or a bike at the very least. Even I, that drives in Bangkok traffic every day, like I could drive on Koh Chang, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But if you don't drive a motorbike every day, or if you're not if you've never had any real experience driving motorbikes, that kind of thing. Good morning, Robert Mack. If you've never had real experience driving a motorbike, please do me a favor. Don't try it on Koh Chang. Rent a car, okay? Because some of the turns and the hills and the braking, that you have to really understand how a bike brakes, and not overload the front brake, etc. There's so many variables that go into riding a bike around Koh Chang that I would not do. I'm talking about a motorbike. If you ride a bicycle, that's a different story. JX says, what's the best place in Thailand if you don't want to drive? I don't know. That's I haven't been everywhere yet, but I can tell you Krabi is a good place. You can fly there and you get a van to Krabi. I think that Samui would be a good location as well, Koh Samui. I haven't been to Koh Samui, but I understand there are roads across back and forth. That's what makes also Bangkok. Yes, good point there. Bangkok would be a good place as well. If you don't want to drive at all and you just want to use public transportation, the rail system here in Bangkok, the MRT, they've just extended several new lines of it. And there's more, that you can go to. So, BTS, all that stuff is here in Bangkok. So maybe perhaps Jay, you would want to visit Bangkok. That would be a good place. Or if you're looking for strictly nightlife and that kind of atmosphere, Pattaya is not a bad place. They have bot buses that run. Normally, they have bot buses that run. They don't now, but they will when tourism comes back. Michael says, hi, I'm from Australia, love Koh Chang, missing Thailand, driving me crazy. Thanks for the videos. You are more than welcome, Michael. And I will have more videos about Koh Chang and from Koh Chang coming out. Like I said, I probably got enough videos for between my other stuff that I do. It's probably going to last, a good 6 weeks or so for me to get them all out, edited. And then I'm going to do some stuff for the members only. I told you I'm going to do a part 2 of the behind the scenes for that. And I'm thinking of some other stuff to try to make for members only that would be beneficial, because the video seemed to do well, as I said earlier. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to drop them. Go Hopping says Pattaya is small and there's good Yep. That's correct. Eric says, are there any places you should avoid in Thailand if you're by yourself? I mean, yeah, there's probably those places. I wouldn't walk into certain areas, but I don't know specifically too many areas that you should avoid in Thailand. My biggest thing is if you go to the tourist cities there, like if you go to Pattaya or Phuket, or if you're in Bangkok, just don't be out late at night by yourself. That's pretty much the big ticket thing. And even more important than that is don't be out late at night by yourself and be inebriated or intoxicated, because that can make for problems with not only anybody looking to do you harm, but also with the police. And I would avoid that at all costs. Not getting involved with the police here is a very, very good thing. Stuck says most of Thailand's medium to large cities have decent public transportation. In my experience, I agree. Even on Koh Chang, there are usually the bot buses on Koh Chang that go, from one place to another. But we only saw, I think we only saw 2 the whole time we were there. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in KOH CHANG. It's dead right now. It's depressing really to see. So yeah, I can see where the tourists come in, they flock in, and they have all this fun and everything's going on and all that stuff. But there's the businesses are either temporarily closed, or they're up for sale. And I did a video on that, all that good stuff. Let's see. Eric says, but aren't those areas mostly busy at night? Yes, they are busy at night. But I'm saying if you're by yourself and you're walking down stay on a main road or something. Don't walk down an alley if you do by yourself, a dark alley. That's getting you closer and closer to trouble. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Autumn says, I found that the residential area is safer than the tourist places. That's true. I would agree with that. But still, with the exception of that one little hiccup that happened in Pattaya, it's been over a year now. I haven't really had any problem with my personal safety. Autumn in Asia said, oh, that's what I just read. Filthos, as for places to avoid, if you've grown up in a big city, your radar will tip you off to the places to avoid. Fairly obvious to the trained eye. I would agree with that, but I didn't grow up in a big city. I lived in a big city for about 10 years before I came over to the Philippines. Before my trip to Thailand, I was in the Philippines. So, yeah. Your gut feeling goes a long way, that kind of thing. Eric says, is there much going on in Pattaya during the day hours pre-March 2020? Yes. During the day hours, you can get pretty much what you can get at night, but the bar scene is not as prevalent. I think that's the right word to use during the day. However, there are many bars that are open from 8 a.m. Some of them open at 11 a.m. And they stay open until 2 a.m. or whatever the government will allow them to stay open to the next day. So yeah, the pre-March 2020, there was a lot. There's a lot going on. If you go back and look at some of my older Pattaya videos, you can see exactly what I'm talking about, Eric. Just go to the Pattaya playlist that I have, not the one on what not to do in Pattaya, but the other one. I forgot what I called it. The true story of the real Pattaya or something like that. Rob Max says, gotta love Thailand. Hello. Real Shade says, where is a place that would be good for a luxury yet inexpensive place to stay or even rent a nice home? There's a lot of places for that. Hua Hin comes to mind first. That would be a good one. Also somewhere in Krabi, particularly around the Raleigh Beach area, would probably be a good spot if you're looking to be toward the beaches. Anywhere in Krabi down there would probably fit your requirements. Sounds that way anyway. Automatic says the local sometimes came up to me and asked if I was okay if I needed help. I just tell them I'm enjoying the kingdom. There you go. There you go. It's really not that hard to do. Robert says, Automatic, good morning. Stuck says, Real Shade, what do you want? Beaches, mountains, rural city? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Stuck. I just went with the beaches myself. Eric said, I cannot wait to finally visit. I will feel it will be my second home there. You're probably right, and many people are making it their second home. In fact, I've seen if you're a member of this channel, we watch Integrity Legal often to get advice and suggestions, and he just released a video sometime last week talking about retirees could be the savior of Thai tourism. Man made some good points. Real Shade says, I sort of want a beach and a pool. That's it. And thank you. But there you go. Then you could stay. I wouldn't look toward the Phuket area because that's a more expensive part of Thailand. You could get what you're looking for in Jomtien. I'm not sure that the price would be. I mean, it's going to be a luxury place, but the inexpensive living, it would kind of be up to you. I think that would be more of an up to you kind of thing. Robert Max in Vegas. Okay, buddy, take care, have fun, and be safe. Stuck says Wahan is good if you want Western conveniences and moderately priced. Yep, that was actually my first thought was Wahan. But if you're in Wahan, most of the time you're going to be around other expats. So if that's what you're looking to do, that's fine. But if you want to be around Thais, which is, trust me, more pleasant than being around a bunch of expats, you might want to consider different areas of Wahan than like the main part, which has those luxury villas and that kind of thing. JX, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Every little bit helps, especially with the recovery from the KOH CHANG trip. So thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. He says, thanks for the info. Deciding between Thailand and Philippines to try living, but the internet is the deciding factor due to my job stateside. Well, let me give you another little piece of advice there. Don't even try the Philippines, brother. Don't even try it. I lived there for 9 months. And if that's your deciding factor, you're going to want to come to Thailand because Thailand's infrastructure is probably at least a decade ahead of the Philippines. I got about 200 and something videos on this channel about the Philippines that you can watch when I was over there. Philippines is very, very third world, not to knock the Philippines at all, but I'm just saying it's a very third world country. Thailand is a much more developed country. And, to get it out of your system, I would recommend going to the Philippines. I think they're opening up for tourism next month, I believe. They're going to be opening up again, is what I heard on the video. So I don't know. Try it, see what you think, but see if you can get by. But I guarantee you the life experience and the experience of just the infrastructure of the country itself, you're going to be much, much, much happier in Thailand. I would think. I really would think. So that's just my 2 cents. But thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate that. Darren says, does KOH CHANG have any long-term rentals? And are they pricey? Yes, they do have long-term rentals, and I did see some that were pricey. I also saw some that weren't so pricey. So, I guess it depends on what you really want to accomplish while you're in KOH CHANG. There's a lot of people on that island that have lived there for years and years. I didn't realize it until I was there, and people found out I was there. A lot of people messaged me directly telling me that. Big C says, no expats up in our village. I know that's right. Stuck in Florida says, JX, Thailand by far for the internet. Yeah, 100%. Big C says, it's one-man band. Stuck says, I know a couple of people in Makati that has decent internet, but I couldn't live in that place. Yeah, me either. Filtho says, don't knock the Philippines infrastructure too much. I hear they're planning to upgrade to 5G in early 2087. They need a lot more upgrades than that. Drive on a road in the Philippines and then drive on a highway in the Philippines and drive on a highway here in Thailand, and you would be surprised. You'd be very, very, very surprised at the difference. Gregory, what's up, man? from Brooklyn, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. Go Hopping says a lot of good deals on Agoda now. 4-star hotels with 75% discounts. That's true. Agoda is giving out some good deals. I found some good deals. I use hotels.com. You guys know that. I found some great deals on there. Funny because it's true. Stuck in Florida. The man has a point. What can I say, right? The man has a point. Gregory says, be there in September, dinner on me. Sounds good. I'll be here for sure. Koh Chang is a spot I recommend everybody go to at some point, especially when Thailand travel and the tourism industry starts to kick back up again. And when that happens, you'll be able to see some of the amazing, like we saw some lookouts. We stopped at some lookouts on Koh Chang, and went to some different places on Koh Chang. They are still building stuff on the island of Koh Chang in Thailand. They're building what looks like could be hotels, what looks like could be restaurants, but they're building more stuff on Koh Chang. They are expecting the return of tourism, and so am I. All the stuff about, Thailand's done, they're not going to be a tourist country, that kind of thing. I don't see that happening at all. Tourism may take place in different places, but I don't see, I just don't see Thailand just not being a tourist destination. I can't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Thailand set up for tourism, and right now, the business owners that rely on tourism are really pushing the boundaries of what they can do to try to get tourism back to Thailand. Unfortunately, the people in Phuket, the business owners there, were denied their request for their plan, but it is what it is. Stuck says, I planned on going to Koh Chang twice, but I got sidetracked only once by a woman. I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. Luckily for me, I was with Ross, so I didn't have to worry about that. I was we were on a mission to he was on a mission to just take a few days to himself, and yep, I got to see his fancy new car he got for the wife, and it's nice. It's nice, real nice car. But we didn't take that car. We took the old car and the little car, which was perfectly fine. It's great on gas, extremely great on gas, and that made the getting on Koh Chang and getting off a lot easier, because there's not a lot of there's just not a lot of places to stop and get gas on Koh Chang. It's kind of a rarity, to be honest. So there are 7-Elevens, but the thing, I saw 7-Elevens that were closed on the island of Koh Chang. When do you see 7-Elevens that have closed down? Not closed like, we're out of business temporarily, like where they had taken the signs down and stuff. That was kind of a head scratcher to me, and I didn't really understand it, but it is what it is. So I was confused by Koh Chang a little bit. It looked like a place where you could go and have a phenomenal time. But with it being, no tourist in over a year now, it's okay, Stuck. It's just a different look and a different feel. We did find authentic Mexican food on Koh Chang. And when I say authentic, I mean this was the best Mexican food I've ever had in my life. I have never been to Mexico, but I've had some authentic Mexican food in America as well. And this little shop that is just a hole in the wall made the best authentic Mexican cuisine I've ever had in my life. It was so delicious, so delicious. Brad Believe says, flying from Myrtle to Vegas next week. They need a Thailand themed hotel, potential business opportunities. Yes, that would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome. Alan, what's up, man? What's up, Jeremy? By the way, was that your girlfriend? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. He's talking about the video in the members only section of this channel. You can see that video and you can get the rest of the perks that come with being a member for less than $3 a month. If you want to become a member, all you have to do is hit the join button below and it will take you through the steps. And I love having channel members because I kind of enjoy making stuff just for them. I mentioned earlier, Alan, you just got here. I'll say it again. For channel members coming up, I'm going to do a part 2 of that video, which will likely be a photo collage. Yeah, she was pretty hot. Which will likely be a photo collage of some of the more boudoir pictures that we took. I think you guys will be happy with that for sure. Hey, James, good morning. Good to see you. Hope you are doing well, sir. So I was very, very happy on Coach Chang. And I tell you something else. If you get up in elevation a little bit on Coach Chang, it's actually very cool. The higher you go up, the cooler it gets. I was kind of stunned by that. And Ross and I went out for a walk the first night that we got there, just looking around at places, trying to see what was open and what was not. And the temperature there was just wonderful. That was the first time I had been out at night in Thailand and not broken a sweat walking. It was just, it was amazing. Had Ross not made me eat some kind of weird Thai food earlier in the day, I would have probably been able to stay out a little bit longer. He may watch this and get a kick out of that, or he may watch it and go, "You're a chicken," or whatever. I don't know. We had a blast, guys. It's about time, Philthos. Welcome, Philthos, as a channel member. Thank you, Philthos, for finally joining up. I was wondering when you were going to join as a channel member. And speaking of channel members, we need to have a live stream, members only live stream, which will probably happen sometime next weekend. I'm going to say next weekend. That'll be the last weekend of the month, so we'll be sure to get one in. I might have one tomorrow after the regular live stream. Not sure yet. We'll get there. I finally have up on PayPal 555. Awesome, Philthos. That's cool, man. Oh, you gave up on PayPal. I hear you, bud. I hear you, man. Does Thailand have a lottery? Yes, scratch tickets, stuff like that. I'm not sure about the scratch ticket things, but they do have a lottery. And you, as a foreigner, can win the lottery, because I know a foreigner that won like 14,000 baht off of one of the lotteries. So yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. Feel free to hit me with any questions. I'm good on that. Yeah, Stuck in Florida says, Philthos, you want to see that video, admit it. It's worth watching. It's worth watching. Even if you're only a channel member for a month, it's worth watching. But there's another video on there for channel members only. In fact, I think there's a live stream, 2 live streams that are in the members only section, and 2 or 3 videos that are there. And you're going to have another one coming up sometime soon. So another video and another live stream. So it's $2.99 a month, guys. If you enjoy the content on this channel, I strongly encourage you to do the members only thing, because I'm going to make at least one of the videos that I recorded in Coach Chang members only. So that'll be another interesting little thing. Let's see what happens. Ottoman Asia, $5 pay super chat. Thank you very much, sir, for your transport hangover. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, that you know, that's one of the few mistakes I made, and that's $155 that you can't get back, and it just eats at you for for the longest time. But you realize that, hey, you're human. You made a mistake. It is what it is. But I learned from it. It was my fault for not planning out the return trip. had everything down for the trip to get there and to stay there and all that stuff. But I failed to plan for the return, and that is my fault, and I accept full responsibility. So thank you, Alderman Asia. I appreciate that very much. Stuck says, I don't know how you paid her, but it was worth it for the thumbnails. LOL. There's more thumbnails to come. It was a 3,000 baht shoot. Lasted a little over 2 hours. I know that's $100, but I believe between the thumbnails, the engagement, and the members that we picked up, it's almost paid for it. The shoot has almost paid for itself already. And I'm looking to do more stuff like that. The hotel review did well. That was the hotel we had the photo shoot in. Then you have the photos on top of that. I think it's all going to pay for itself. And I mean, it's been good so far. Been very good so far. Filto says, I just want to be able to say, you can't say that, Filtos, but I understand. Lyle says, all JC had to say was boudoir photos to get Filtos in. Yeah, I hear you, man. Alan says, question, if I own a condo in Thailand but do not live there all the time, do I still have to apply for a visa on my visits to the country? Yeah, so your visas and your condos are going to be separate. And that's going to be a good question for a lawyer, Alan, for an immigration lawyer. Go to integritylegal.com and find out from them. I don't want to give you a direct answer, but your entry to Thailand is going to be about visas. Even though you own a condo here, that doesn't necessarily. I don't think that necessarily guarantees you a visa, to the best of my knowledge. So you might want to do a little digging into that. James says, was she a real model or a girl? No, real model. Not a girl at 7-Eleven or anything like that. She was a real model. I mean, she came with she came with like 3 bags, different kinds of makeups, a whole bunch of stuff to do with her hair, some a ton of outfits that she could put on. And she was, I didn't have to do much direction with her. She obviously had been in front of the camera before. So, yeah, real model, 100%. Stuck says, if more than 30 days, yes, Alan Harris, there you go. Thank you, Stuck. Appreciate that. I love how we get answers to questions over here. I appreciate you guys always helping each other out. That's a big deal. It really is. I really appreciate that. So to kind of end talking about KOH CHANG before I start talking about Thailand travel, I just want you guys to know that the videos that are coming out were all fun. I had a good time in every one of them. KOH CHANG is awesome. I cannot wait to go back when, it's up and lively again. Have to wait for the tourists to come back so the businesses can restart to be able to enjoy some of them. Even though I am a domestic traveler here in Thailand, I still have to wait for the non-domestic travel, for the international travel to come back before I can take advantage of all the businesses and all the extras that being a tourist has to offer, and that's always a lot of fun. I wanted to read you guys a few pieces of information. Love the music in that shoot. Thanks, Alan. That was a quick choice on my part, so I'm glad you liked it. Very glad you liked it. And I want to tell you guys also. I'll answer your question in 1 second, Jay. I want to tell you guys also that I'm going to be. That was just my GoPro set in one location, right? I didn't do any actually filming of the model, that kind of thing. The next behind the scenes I do will not be just a one camera setup. I'll also have I'll do some recording with the camera itself, and you'll get some slow-mo video and movement out of that. So it'll look a lot better, and it'll look a lot more professional as well. Let me answer Eric's question real quick. I'm sorry I had to step away. I briefly heard model. Did you hire one for a photo shoot? I did. And if you have, you're a channel member, Eric, all you have to do is go watch the video. It's a members only video, and you can watch the behind the scenes shoot. And there's a bunch of pictures on there that I took too. Jay says, if you don't mind me asking, what visa are you on? I don't mind at all. I'm on a non-B visa. I'm a teacher. I teach full-time Monday through Friday, and then I travel on the weekends if I can. Yeah, you're welcome, Eric. And thanks, Stuck, for helping there. But non-B visa, work permit, and that's how I stay here. So I've been fortunate enough to have a job. I've had 2 teaching jobs since I've been here, and in April I'll have been here 3 years. So just a couple months. I'll have been in Thailand 3 years. I can't believe I've been here almost 3 years already. But I've learned a lot. I messed up a lot, and I've done some good things too. And starting to do more good things than bad, that's important. Trust me. And if you guys, any of you guys watching right now that have not hit the thumbs up button yet, please do so. YouTube likes it when we hit the thumbs up button, and it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Brad Believe says he's a Girl Scout cookie representative. Definitely not. Hello, Pampon. Good morning. Good to see you. Alan says, how come you have not learned the language? Because I'm not around people that speak the language enough. I work at I work teaching. I work around a bunch of English speaking expats. So, it is what it is. But I believe I'm gonna take down those comments because I don't want anybody that's no disrespect to you, but that's kind of not funny. And somebody might get the wrong idea. Again, no disrespect to you at all. James says, seen one of your old videos. My question, without going into detail, do you have to work in Thailand to stay there? Well, it depends on what you mean by stay there. If you mean live here, it depends on your age. If you're under the age of 50, and because you have to be 50 to qualify for a retirement visa, so you can stay here for a long time. If you are, that's a non-immigrant visa, but you can renew it year after year, or extend your stay year after year after year. In terms of if you're under age 50, then you're either going to need to be on a smart visa, which is going to be a working visa of some kind. Yeah, James, I don't know why YouTube doesn't want this comment, but whatever. I'll hold it. Yes, income from the States I do have, and that is through YouTube, and used to be through Amazon as well, which reminds me, I'm about to get my Amazon store back up and running. So there'll be an Amazon link in some of the future videos coming up. And even if you guys don't shop in my store, if you just use that link to get on Amazon, the channel will get a kickback, very small percentage kickback of the items that you buy. It doesn't cost you anything more at all. So it's a good way to earn money. It worked good with me. The other way, James, to stay here is, you can work. If you're under 50, you can work. You can get a smart visa. You may qualify. Hey, Johnny, good to see you, bud. You may qualify for some type of investment visa if you want a BOI. You want to be on the Board of Investments or something like that. And there's also, if you want to come here and not work, if you have income coming in, if you want to be on long-term tourist visa status, you can go the elite visa route. The cheapest one comes in at 600,000 baht, which is about, I think, $16,000, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. That's a 5-year visa. Filtho says there are some good apps in the Play Store for learning basic Thai. Yeah, drill in vocabulary at least. Sentence structure sometimes kind of reverse though. I've seen that. I've noticed that. I know a little bit more Thai than I let on, but I don't try to speak it because I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. And I came to Thailand to understand the culture. So eventually I'm going to have to learn the language, and I'm learning little bit by little bit. The more people I meet, the more I learn, which is always a good thing. Filtho says another easy way to stay in Thailand long term is to bring in. I'm going to remove that for sure. But yeah, that will that'll keep you in that'll keep you in Thailand for a long time. That's definitely not a good way to do it. You won't get to go exploring. I'll put it to you that way. So let's talk travel in general. What are we thinking? Over the course of this week, I've heard everything from there is now a third variant, and Thailand is considering or has implemented by now, I'm not sure which one, a 21-day queue on people from a certain country. Okay. Alan says that's not funny. It was funny, but it's not. It's just not. I can't leave it up here. Also, they're considering lowering the number of days for the queue when you come in. So if you're in an ASQ situation when you come into Thailand, the only way Thailand tourism is ever going to return to normal is to drop that queue completely, or to have it very minimal, like 3 to 5 days at the most. We've all discussed this. We know this. This is not criticizing of the Thai government or anything like that. Good point, Stuck. Free room and board included. I like that. Yeah, so that's going to be the catalyst. The catalyst to restart international tourism will be dropping the queue, and we're all aware of that. And I want to give you an example of that. This came in this morning. It says that's that was where they got arrested. Sorry, didn't want to read that one. Thailand to welcome first group of foreign tourists from South Korea under Gulf quarantine campaign tonight. So again, the Gulf quarantine is a little bit more expensive. I said the whole word, didn't I? Yeah, I did. The Gulf queue is a little bit more expensive than regular Thailand ASQ. But Thailand has this, it appears, let me just say, they appear to have this mindset right now of we want to bring in rich people. That's great. I hope it works out well. However, I have a feeling it won't. And I'll tell you why. Is because a lot of the places that these rich people are used to going to, that they can go on the cheap. That includes nightlife, golf courses, restaurants, all that stuff. They're not there anymore. Like, they're not there, or they're running a limited amount of business, or the alcohol ban is on, or because the country still, to the best of my knowledge, is still under the emergency decree. So I'm not sure that me personally, I'm not sure that's a feasible plan for long-term success. But again, I'm not here to judge one way or the other, because Thailand's going to do what's best for Thailand, and Thailand government is going to do what's best for the country. So far, they've kept the country safe, and that's really all I can ask for as an expat being here. Even I learned, even as if you're here, when you have a visa, a long term visa, a long stay visa, like an elite visa, or a retirement visa, something like that, or even like me, a non-B visa with work permit. You're still listed as a non-immigrant, so you really have no status in terms of being able to change, do, or say too much about what goes on in Thailand. That's why I'm just very casual in what I say, and I do believe I'm not like covering my tracks when I say I think Thailand will do what's best for Thailand, because that's what they've been doing, and that's what they will continue to do. I've read out of papers. This is all information that's publicly available, so it's not like it's coming from me. But I've read out of papers that one reason Thailand is not dropping the queue or lowering the queue right now is because they don't know if the magic shots are going to work or not. That's a fair point, because you don't know. But hopefully they will take a look at the rest of the world and see if the magic shots are working elsewhere, and get that queue down. And if that happens, we'll be able to come in. No, Ross, you didn't miss much. I just talked about, thanks for dropping by, bud. Just talked about our little adventure in Koh Chang. I didn't give away too much information because I haven't done any of the videos yet. I'm going to be doing editing today and tomorrow. That's pretty much the only thing I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to try to get some videos ready to go. And next week you can expect more of the same. There'll be YouTube shorts. There'll probably be a couple of videos from our trip to our on the road part of on the way to Koh Chang, and then eventually we'll get to Koh Chang. So it's going to be an interesting little series. Ross says dealing with stuff here. Alden says just a little story about you. That's funny. James says there's still a delay with the magic shots to Thailand. There was, but I hopefully that they were all good stories, Ross. But I believe they had there was a delay, and I believe that they're coming in very soon, like within the week. I believe this coming week. Stuck in Florida says, what's best for everyone isn't always best for everyone. It's catch-22. I don't disagree with that, Stuck, at all. I can agree with that 100%. And you make a legitimate point. So it's it is what it is. But we want to see, when you guys see, and I mentioned in several of the videos, when I'm in Koh Chang, like, tourism's got to return to Thailand, because it's just it was sad, really, to see some of the stuff, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, and it made me sad. And I talked about this earlier in the video, but I would love to go to Koh Chang when it was flourishing, and all the businesses were there and everything that were there and open. That would be great. Stuck in Florida. I'm not going to read that comment. I'm going to delete it in just a second. But if you guys want to read that comment, that's a fairly good number. So you guys can read that if you want to. Hang on. Keep getting the. Or did he remove it himself? Hang on, I got a little freeze on the computer here, guys. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay, he retracted it. Cool. But things seem to be working out. That was my point. Is things seem to be working, fairly well in throughout the world. Of course, you hear the horror stories here and there about one person had this or a group of people had this as a result of the magic shot. But ultimately, there's going to have to be some type of protection, I guess you would say, that's going to be given against it, and you're going to have to bite the bullet and do it at some point, I would say. However, there are people that feel that they will not do it, and I respect their right not to do it. So I respect the right of people to do what they feel necessary with their own bodies. That's where I stand on that. No judgment here at all. So the South Korea tourists are doing the golf queue, and they're coming in tonight. 41 South Korean tourists scheduled to be flying in tonight to do their queue. Filtho says it's a matter of waiting for the dam to bust. Once one of the Southeast Asian countries drops the queue and starts to see dollars and pounds, the rest will drop within a few weeks. I cannot say that I disagree, Filthos. I cannot say that I disagree. I think that you have a legitimate point there. I don't know if it'll be within a few weeks, but it'll certainly be within a month or two, because the strain on Thailand's economy right now, people keep saying, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. 20% of the GDP is tourism, but that's just tourism. That's not counting like all the businesses that are associated with tourism. Okay. You're talking about, and it being in Koh Chang really brought that to life for me. It was just how many businesses are affected by not having people here. So it's not just about the tourism dollars, the staying in this hotel, eating at this restaurant. There are so many other factors that go into that. I'm not sure that you guys want to hear me do a deep dive into that, so I'm not going to. Stuck in Florida says everything I can find from reliable sources, it's looking positive that we will slow it down considerably. Yeah, I agree. And I've read that too. Ross says, in the tourist part of Thailand, 100% GDP from tourism. In the tourist part of Thailand, 100% GDP from tourism. Thanks. James says the little people are the most affected. I'm not sure what you mean by little, but you have to be very careful talking about this, guys. I know a guy. I want to just iterate this right now. Be careful what you say about this, because I know a guy that had got 2 strikes for talking about this stuff. So be careful what you say, please. Johnny says Thailand, when the bot was floated, did suffer, as we all did. See, tourists went to other places. Yes, they did, Johnny. Tourists went to other places. The bot got stronger, and we were seeing tourism starting to drop just a little bit before. In fact, long before the actual pre-March 2020. So that's a good point. Filtho says, I'm wondering if the supply chain to support tourism will be robust enough, good production, transport, etc. From everything I've read, I'm going to say yes. That is a good question, Filthos, but my inclination, based upon what I've read and what I've seen, is yes, that it will be. And I think that's a really, really good sign for us, for sure. Yeah, Ross, I believe that Thai economy is still stronger than its neighbors. I believe that because Thai economy has a more diverse and robust economy than its neighbors. So that makes sense. Filtho says food production. Oh, food production. He was talking about transport, etc. Yeah, I think the things are in place that will support all of that. I just don't think. Uh, I think that they have to be real careful about how they set up that the supply chain for everything, right? So you don't want to, the old saying, the chain's only as strong as its weakest link. You don't want one of the links to fall out, because if you do, then you don't have a chain, and that's something else that's got to be taken into consideration. There's a lot going on here in Thailand that I can't talk about as well. You can read about it in the news, I'm sure, but there's some stuff going on in the capital, and I hope that's not a setback to some of the problems that are plaguing Thailand right now. And by problems, I mean the lack of tourists, and the lack of people being able to get here. I think it's great that they did this thing with South Korea, and they're trying new things. One thing I can say that has always impressed me about Thailand is they're just not scared to try things. They try well, they're not scared to try new things. Let's put it that way. They've been trying different things. Some have worked to a certain degree, some have not. The special tourist visa was dropped. Well, I guess effectively dropped. It wasn't. I'm not sure that there's been an official cancellation on it, but yeah, it just didn't. It didn't bring in the numbers that people were hoping for. And all of this always goes back to the queue. A 14-day queue is going to keep people away for a long time, and it just is. But I have every confidence that as not only Thailand but other countries see that the magic shots are working around the world, and that they provide a good percentage of protection for everyone, that that they'll be able to either make the queue very short, or like 3 to 5 days, like as I was talking about, or drop it all together. If they drop it all together and reopen the borders, you'll see tourists come back to Thailand even in the low season. I predict that even in the low season they'll come back. And I think you'll see a real fast, flourishing, growing, building Thai economy in terms of the tourism part. Joe P says, in your opinion, what is the best ASQ in Bangkok? That's a good question for Roger. He's currently bouncing in and out. I'm not sure. You could ask Roger that question.